Hi, I'm Stacy. Welcome to the kitchen of my old Kentucky home. Today on Bourbon and Biscuits, we're going to be going bananas. I'm going to be making a Kentucky treat you've probably never heard of, and Jessica's going to pair it with a banana old-fashioned. Let's get started. For our banana croquettes, here's what we'll need. Bananas, 3 cups of peanuts, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and 1 cup of mayonnaise. Now, so many times on Bourbon and Biscuits, we are making either a family recipe or just something that I grew up with and a riff on that. That is not the case this time. I first learned of banana croquettes when Kentucky was featured on an entire season of Bravo Network's Top Chef several years ago. One of the hosts tweeted maybe a photo and how much she liked them or something like that. And Jessica said her family grew up making them and she has a family recipe, so they finally hounded me to make this and we're gonna give it a go today. So the first thing we're gonna need is to take our peanuts and simply chop them up. Got about 3 cups in here. Let's see how much I can fit on this cutting board. This is really just kind of one of those, we're not baking anything, so this does not have to be an exact science at all. We just need, it's like your typical, like when you're dredging fried chicken or something, you just need enough to coat everything you're gonna do, which are the bananas. So really, you can do 1 banana if you want, you can do 2, you can do a whole bunch. You're just gonna need enough of this dredge, which is simply, this is gonna be the last thing that we're gonna use as they fall all over the place. So I want to talk a little bit about the history of maybe not the croquette itself, which sounds kind of funny. My first impression when I heard it was like a salmon croquette that I had grown up with, which would be kind of a weird way to do a banana. This is really more just like a roll. Kind of like, it reminds me of maybe the frozen bananas dipped in chocolate that you can get in the summer from the ice cream truck guys, right? So bananas, you would not think would have been this big specialty in Kentucky all these years ago, but there's some really cool history behind that. I think we talked about it a little bit in our banana pudding episode, but maybe not fully. And it's Fulton, Kentucky, traces its history there. Fulton, Kentucky is a little railroad town on the Kentucky-Tennessee border in western Kentucky. And it was really a crossroads for goods coming from mainly New Orleans to the entire upper South, Midwest, and West. And when the refrigerated railroad cart, came to be an invention in 1875, this meant the first big transport of bananas outside of the port cities of New England and up throughout the upper South. So Fulton was at this crossroads. They became actually the banana capital of America and launched an entire banana festival in 1962 that they still celebrate today. I think it is in September. So that's how bananas became to be such a popular ingredient in Kentucky, and I guess is part of the origin story behind the banana croquette. Okay, we've got these chopped up pretty coarsely. It really just, I guess, we'll have to ask Jessica how her family did. I guess it just depends on the amount of crunch that you want. This is kind of, there's some pulverized and some pretty coarse. I think that'll look pretty on the sides of these bananas. All right. Next step is to mix our first coating, which is going to be the mayonnaise and this tablespoon of sugar. Before I got Jessica's family recipe, I was also looking at doing some research in some old Kentucky cookbooks to try to find others, and I did find where, before mayonnaise was a commercial product, we found one of the first recipes we could find published for this was in 1903, an old Louisville cookbook. And so they were making their house-made mayo just with eggs at the time. But it's so much easier to just plop this out of a jar, right? Okay, so that's gonna be our first coating. We'll put that out there. And then I'm told by Jessica that the bananas that we need to use don't necessarily need to be too fresh. They kind I chose these, kind of the browner the better for the quality that we're going for here. So we're simply going to peel these. And you don't want to make this too far in advance, she said. She did have family members bring these from the country to the family picnic, and then they would sit out on a table for a couple of hours. Like, it's not too long with the mayonnaise, but this is not something you want to make overnight. And maybe if you have time at the party, maybe you want to have all these ingredients chopped and then just quickly do them when you arrive. Maybe that would be a good idea too. Okay, I'm gonna get our plating to put these on as well. And we're simply going to, I guess you could do them whole. I'm gonna assume that we need to cut these in half. So I think you could really cut these a variety of ways. You could cut the banana in thirds if you wanted smaller bites. You could cut them longwise if you wanted to plate those up nicely. Jessica said her family does it like this. They must really like banana croquettes because it's going to give you a lot of a banana. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, now the fun part. We're just going to take one of our bananas and dip into our mayonnaise sugar mixture and just put a thin coating. We just want enough that the peanuts are going to adhere. That's enough. And final step is dredging it through our peanut mix. I'm just gonna kind of throw them on top there. And there we have it, our banana croquette. Now I'm gonna finish plating up the rest of these while Jessica makes us a banana old-fashioned.
All right, so today we are going to make a banana old-fashioned. We're gonna be using Kentucky Bourbon, of course. I've got some Black Walnut Bitters, and I've made a banana brown sugar simple syrup already so that it had enough time to cool before we put in our cocktail. To make this, I did 1 cup of water, 1 cup of brown sugar. I just quartered a banana and put it all in a saucepan, and then I brought it up to a boil, which for a lot of simple syrups, you'd only need to get it hot enough to melt the sugar, but I wanted the banana to kind of be able to fall apart and almost dissolve into the mixture. And then once that cooled a little bit, I took that all, strained it through a fine mesh sieve, and just put it here in my mason jar and let it cool off so I can use it now. And then we've got a banana to garnish. So we're gonna just build this cocktail directly into our rocks glass here. I'm gonna do 2 ounces of bourbon. I'm gonna do 4 dashes of these Black Walnut Bitters. And then I'm gonna do 1/2 ounce of my brown sugar banana simple syrup. I really just love the way banana and bourbon flavors taste together. I think that a lot of bourbons that I try have a bit of that like ripe banana fruit flavor in them too. So to me, it's just perfect complement. Got 1/2 ounce of that. All right, and then I'm just gonna use one of my large ice cubes here because I don't want this to dissolve too quickly, and that's why these are great for that. And then I'm going to give it all a stir to get it nice and chilled. And then I'm just going to garnish this here. I'm gonna drop one of these banana slices in, which I imagine by the end of the cocktail is going to be very delicious and bourbon infused. So there you have it. It is a banana old-fashioned.
All right.
Are you ready for the big first try?
I know.
Drum roll, please.
This is so exciting because I feel like most of the time we've done a recipe that I grew up with, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times you had too.
Usually a lot of overlapping there.
Right.
Yes.
But never had I heard of these until that Top Chef reference.
I feel like the banana croquettes are kind of 50-50 in Kentucky. Either people had them at every single family gathering or they've never tried it before. So,
all right. So here we go.
Of course, you're going to start a new tradition, I'm sure.
I think I might. I had to be a little extra, of course, you know. I had to cut mine in little dainty little slices. I couldn't picture putting that whole thing in that. So here it is. All right.
which is fair.
All right.
So, I mean, we really, truly, any large gathering, somebody brought these. And Stacy, while you're ruminating on this is going to absolutely blow your mind. These were always put on the salad table.
As my daughter might say, no ma'am.
It's just the way it is. They're good though, aren't they?
They're really good.
Yeah.
That is not a salad though. That is a dessert.
Yeah, I agree,
That
but
is really, really
that's just
good.
the place on the table.
I love the play between the sweetness of the banana and that saltiness and
A
that
little
crunch
tang
of the
too with the mayo. It's just
that
a little
is
bit.
really. Well, now I've got to, how we do the bourbon tastings. I'm gonna have to finish it with this. All right.
Another thing about the banana croquettes, kind of like you mentioned, how it's a good idea because you want to serve them pretty much immediately after you make them. This is a really fun dish to get kids involved with because they can crush peanuts if they're using not a knife but like a blunt mallet, and they can roll the bananas and everything. So it's just kind of a fun little family tradition there.
Fun family reunion activity.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, one of the things the kids can't do yet, unfortunately, is drink this.
Yeah.
But wow.
This one turned out pretty good.
Okay,
I'm pretty...
Paired with this, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It would be great with a banana pudding too, or anything, frankly. I have to say, this is in my top 5 of the drinks that you've
I love to hear that.
It really is delicious.
That's fantastic. Well, you all, thanks so much for going bananas with us, and we'll see you next time on Bourbon
and Biscuits.
Cheers!
Cheers!